There's a very sad time for the country, right? I found myself just bursting into tears at random points, thinking about Adriana Young and her last moments, right? And what really transpired. We're going to get to the bottom of it. But right now, it's practically the government versus the people of Guyana, right? So I'm going to start with this because there still seems to be some confusion. I've seen a lot of comments where people are saying, you know, don't make this political, don't make this into a political issue. The government have nothing to do with it. Now, as a matter of fact, I'm not here to fight you guys, and we should not be here to fight each other. As a matter of fact, if you go read the Constitution of the Republic of Guyana, you will see that the president is not only the head of government, he is also the commander-in-chief of the armed forces. That includes the police force. The police force, the Guyana police force, is a part of the executive branch of the government of Guyana. Okay? So when people are saying the government is responsible, they genuinely are responsible. If they say the PPP is responsible, the head of government is a member of the PPP party. It's a matter of fact. It's not something we should be fighting about at this point. Never mind, people have been trying to turn something that has brought the nation to a point of grief into a political matter. I'm here to tell you that yes, from the very beginning, the government is involved. The police force is the government. The police force are not managed by private entities. They answer to the government. They are part of the government. So let's put that to bed right away, first of all, before I proceed, because that's important when we're going forward. So I'm saying it's the people of Guyana versus the government of Guyana right now, because as we can see, there's heavy involvement on the side of the government in the cover-up of the murder of Adriana Young. I don't think there's ever been another crime in this country that has so much video evidence of what transpired, especially on the morning of the discovery of Adriana Young's body in the pool. Given that that pool had been searched multiple times already, there are cameras from all angles capturing the police, the now famous Leroy Smith, his name is Wayne Smith, right? Capturing him at the top of the stairs, leaving a room where there was fire, the unexplained bottom of his jeans and his trousers being wet. There are many unexplained questions, especially given that this is the only time I've seen police stand back and allow a crime scene to be burnt to the ground, right? Notwithstanding they participated in it. But I have some warnings for you on this same front. So I have to do a more comprehensive video to bring us all up to speed on the timeline, exactly what happened and when. But this is quite urgent because the autopsy is being conducted today at Georgetown Public Hospital. So we already know the state is complicit and they're involved. They try to deflect attention from the hotel by fabricating claims that the girl was abducted and was in Westminster, somewhere on the West Bank, and in the company of somebody named Orlando, a first name only. I don't know about you, but I would never rent my car to someone that only came to me with a first name, had no proper address or anything. So they held on to the man that owned the car. We should not forget this from our minds, right? I'm just doing a brief segue here. We should not let this leave our minds, that if the people had left that hotel that night, right, and those people were able to ferry the body out of the back and dump it somewhere, they had already arrested a man at the Harbor Bridge at 6 o'clock in the morning, 3 hours before that body was set to be discovered, right? They ran out of time. They had to go and basically dump the body in the pool. They ran out of time. But we would have been hearing a different story about a man that abducted a girl that was caught on state CCTV and then dumped her body somewhere, and they had caught him and they solved the crime all within one day. That man was kept for an additional 9 hours after the body of Adriana Young was discovered, and I hope he sues the state for wrongful detention and defamation of character, right? You ruined that man's name, and there's been no apology to the state, to that man, right? So let us not forget that someone innocent could have been framed for an abduction when they were never in the location. Many cases have to be reopened on this basis. how many poor people are sitting in jail for murders of rich people and crimes that other people committed that they did not commit, for things that the police did. How many people are currently languishing in our prison system that have been judged and defamed in the law because of people like that? You should go check out this guy, DaCosta Christopher's page. He tells a story similar. One of the officers there pinned a robbery on him in 2012 for $12 million, right? All of those things need a serious commission of inquiry. So today there is the autopsy, and naturally the country is very tense because we are awaiting the results of this autopsy. But I have a couple comments. First off, there's been publication that has brought the qualifications of the pathologist into question. The family have expressed their wish for independent pathologists to be brought in and for an independent investigation. I have not heard word back on whether that will be facilitated, and I think every effort must be made to facilitate the family's wishes, given the state failed them from the inception straight through, right? Straight through with the destruction of the evidence. So they should be afforded that. Now, they have the autopsy being conducted now, and people are on tenterhooks wondering whether they will say she died by drowning or if she did not die by drowning, as if that will solve the case, as if we could say case closed. Yes, she was in the pool. I'm telling you guys, the pool was searched multiple times. There was nobody in the pool. Critic went there, and if you take pay to go there, I'm sure he went there to provide a distraction to show she wasn't in the pool, because the original plan was that she would pop up somewhere else, right? But that video ended up backfiring, and it's now a critical piece of evidence because he went there. Never mind the question of how it is that only Critic, who is not related to this child, while the family were actively being barred from entering the hotel to search for their baby, Critic somehow managed to get access to that location, right? But he showed us there was nobody in the pool. There's other photographic evidence. Like I said, I will do a more thorough compilation video after this, but there's photographic evidence from an aerial shot later the next morning, just before her body was found, showing nobody in the pool. There was one from the evening before showing nobody in the pool. So the question is, for the people that want to say, yes, she was in there, the pool pump suctioned her and held her trapped at the bottom there. Ludicrous, okay? The people that want to say that, they're just waiting to hear that she did die from drowning, therefore it must mean that she died in the pool. That's not the case. Remember, this is a hotel. There are multiple ways to drown somebody. If that is what, I'm not presuming to know the outcome of the autopsy report, but if it does come back that she did die from drowning, that does not mean she drowned in that pool. You understand me? They had a room full of chlorine. I heard in one of the aunt's videos, we must acknowledge that there were a number of unexplained injuries on this young girl's body, right? I am still obsessing over how you can bleach the melanin from somebody's skin in a few short hours, right? And how there were patches of skin that were okay and patches that clearly looked like they had some burn or some chemical interference. How were her knees bruised? Okay, I feel like they drained that pool for a reason. Because the next thing, first of all, part of the investigation, if they had had the same number of police that went down there to shoot at the protesters and quell the outrage, the justifiable outrage of this nation, if they deployed the same number of police to search for her, and if they were not successful, to guard the crime scene, because it was the scene of a crime they were guarding, if they deployed that many police, we could have preserved the evidence. I know public outrage wanted to see that business closed down, but I don't believe in the moments immediately after. I urge you guys to look back at the videos. There are many of them. I urge you to look at that video again, because I'm here to tell you about the Guyana Police Force, right? You can see that they're not only complicit in starting that fire. There's many pictures of that. Whether the staff started it with coordination of the police and Officer Wetfoot, as I've been calling him, that's a matter for the investigation, but we could see with our own eyes, right? There was a lot of hanky-panky going on there. And we have been focusing attention on the fire. I think it leads to other places, and that's why I want to go back to Tushan, right? If you look back at the video, you'll notice, so just after the discovery of this child's body, in almost a coordinated effort, some people started flinging chairs at the glass. That was a deliberate distraction. You heard somebody asking about the bears that were later upstairs. People start immediately fetching out bears from the place. And I remember pausing the video at some point and said, you know, who fetches out bear 2 feet away from a dead body? Was that genuinely one of the supporters that was there from the previous night waiting hours and hours in solidarity with this family? Or was that somebody that was planted? And that question was answered to me because I've seen a number of photos of this masked man, and we've seen him at the protest, and there's even footage of him, I will post it later, of him adding fuel, literally adding fuel to the fire. The supporters trying to take fuel from the fire, and this man is there throwing it back on, and he's seen in the company of senior police officers, right? So what I want to tell you guys today is, as people are going out on the streets, and we're going out around the country in support of this young girl, where the government have already tried to turn it into a political issue, be wary of troublemakers. Be wary of people planted in your midst to cause trouble. Telling me, it can pause the life, right? Beware of troublemakers in your midst. The people like those officers in plain clothes that come to plant trouble. And I've been hearing about this for many, many years, that the government actually takes people and plants them in peaceful protests to cause violence and loot and burn, and then turn around in the media to say this is opposition. This is, now they're saying is Azruddin Mohammed, is PNC. Adriana was so young, the girl did not have a political party. What is wrong with you? What's wrong with some of you? As a little baby, how you accuse her of being a PNC? Right? We don't have a heart for each other. So I want you guys to be wary of troublemakers in your midst. Right? People are going to come to loot and burn. And I told you yesterday that they're planning violence for you. They're planning violence for us. This is all of our problem. This is a situation all of us need a resolution to. They're planning violence for us in response to the support we are showing for this young girl that was murdered. And we want justice for her. No justice, no peace. Right? So they're going to plan people around you. You might be there protesting peacefully. You see people come in mass, all kind of people show up to start looting and burning, when the family have clearly said they are not there for that. So if you are a scrape or a dunstug, happen to be listening to this broadcast, and you are supporting the family, you have not been called to loot and burn. Those are the instructions that have gone out to the Association of Scrapes, if we should call it that. There will be no looting and burning. That will not be coming from the side of the peaceful protesters. We are seeking justice, right? The looting and burning will be by the agents. Let them stand on their own so they can be exposed. The agents of the government that have been planted in these gatherings, these peaceful gatherings, to disrupt. And why is that? So tomorrow you can see on Guyana Daily News and Action News and Newsroom and Guyana Express and all of the outlets that they control, that opposition-led supporters, it will completely change it from the murder of this young girl, the cover-up and complicity of the state in hiding her body and dumping it in a pool like an object, right? And setting fire to the building. No ambulance, no dignity for this little girl, right? Have her on the road like an animal. Right? We need to do better. We need to do better for our young children. This thing is hurtful. It's hurtful. Deeply hurtful. And it's distasteful and disgusting that this issue would be politicized in the manner it has. That we're talking about inconveniences. You know what is inconvenient? Inconvenient is the first day of school, knowing you're not going to put your daughter's uniform on. That is beyond inconvenient. And I think about that family today. A lot of people send their children back to school. They did not have a daughter to send back to school. Okay? That must be worth something. They will not have a daughter to bring them grandchildren and bring them happiness in their old age, to support them as they have supported her. That must be worth something. So let us not forget the true cause of the supporters going out on the street. And they're justifiably protesting things, right? Let's not forget that. Let's have a heart for each other. It could have been any one of our children. It could be any one of us, right? So be wary of these people are coming out. And I told you last night that a number of people reached out to me to say that the police already been calling, some being given live rounds, some getting the pellets and everything. And they are prepared ahead of time to quell protests. Now that I had to ask myself, why are they getting ready for uproar as if they know what is coming? Because the police know all along. Okay? They need to requisition the phone records of all of those people. Indar say he was not involved. Show us your phone records from the phone company. Who were you in contact with on that night? Was the president, who was he calling on that night? We need a full and thorough investigation. But how can we ask the cat to watch the milk? Because the police are investigating themselves, right? This is weird. This is a genuine moment of no confidence in the state and how they are running things. And some of you keep trying to wash your hands and say they have nothing to do with it. It has nothing to do with the government. It has everything to do with the government. They alone have the power to demand this footage of the abduction, which almost set up and framed an innocent man. They alone have the power to secure every single police officer and the plainclothes one that were there and put all of them. How only 3 police end up on the close arrest? Were we not seeing good? And if you guys go back to the video I shot on the night where I walk around the back and everything, when I went there, when I went to that hotel, I walk up to the door, right? There were 3 officers stood guard, 1 in brown clothes and 2 in plain clothes. Someone called me and pointed it out to me because I didn't even notice. One of those officers was Leroy Smith. One of those people at the door was Leroy Smith, and he was in the same uniform that he was in the next day when he showed up with his wet feet. Right? He was there from the night, so the man was literally guarding the murder scene. Literally. And when I asked the brown clothes officer for comment, I got it on camera. When I asked him for comment, he said he can't give any comment. There's a more senior officer than him inside talking with the family. Right? While that poor baby's family were out there waiting. Right? Her father was there from 2 o'clock. 2 o'clock. Found out the daughter's missing around 1:30. Within 40 minutes, an hour, her father was there. He did not move. Okay? We all do to these people. So we need justice for Adriana, but I want you guys to be on your guard. Be on your guard. Right? They're looking to shoot. I would not be surprised if they go and start some fire at some building, because we know these guys care more about property than life. They're willing to sacrifice anything for property and money and riches, right? We've lost the sense of service where it comes to leadership. We need a restoration of people who are looking to serve us, not bleed us dry, literally and figuratively. We're done with that, right? So you guys be on your alert, because just now, whenever this results start come out, they seem to know that people are not going to be happy with it. I want to tell you in advance, even if they come out and say she drowned, they have to explain a lot of things. You have to explain a lot of things. Those injuries have to be explained, right? And people need to go down for this. We're not accepting resignation. We're not accepting leave. We are accepting jail, right? Some of these people need to literally go to jail because they committed conspiracy to murder, conspiracy to cover up murder at very least. And we saw it with our own eyes. It was broadcast for thousands of us. And I'm fed up of the gaslighting. You're literally telling the population of this nation, we didn't see what we saw. We saw it live. We saw the participation of the police in covering up this crime, right? I want to know, on that same live feed, I spoke about this black tinted out car and a minibus that came in that back street at like 1:30 in the morning when I was walking through there. I want to know who was in that bus and that car. Up to now, we don't know with the footage that they've gone and canvassed. We don't have any pictures of this Double D or Day and Son as they were called in the press. It's very deliberate. They've pivoted this to turn all the attention to the police. No doubt the police were involved, but there are other people that know what went down. All those staff were allowed to go home, scattered to the wind, all their files and everything allowed to be burned up in there. So we don't know who was there, right? A lot of people supposed to be sitting in that jail cell right now, and we're not accepting what's going on right now. So I'm going to be heading out later to go down to the scene and see what's going on. But I'm here for my people. I'm here to tell you guys, I love you guys. I want you to be safe. Look out for the troublemakers, right? The family of Adriana Young have clearly stated they don't want people going on the road, burning up things and looting. They are not there for that. They're there for justice for the baby that was taken from them, right? So we are not supporting that. If you're a supporter of Adriana Young, you're not a supporter of the burning down the town. Let the government agents stand on their own so we could all see what they're doing, the nasty, wicked, malicious things that they would do to turn attention from this poor baby's death, right? That's all for now. I had to come and tell you that. I want to tell you this intuition, but time is run out. Y'all be on your guard today. Share this information. If you don't even share the live, you share it. You call people on the ground and you let them know. You let them know. They don't have nothing good planned for us. One love, guys.